Economist Tope Fasua now joins us to discuss this lingering issue. Thank you, Tope, for coming to Newsnight.
You're welcome.
Now, it's beginning to look like different bullets hitting the Nigerian masses from different directions. The oscillating pressure on the forex, fuel subsidy removal, inflation, lingering inflation, all sorts. Let's take us through the impact of the oscillating pressure on our forex, on what to expect with oil prices.
Well, you know, I mean, a lot of people have stated what their positions are in that report you just showed. One thing I heard that was very interesting there is someone saying that the cost of transportation from wherever it is they're bringing
like
the fuel was 30%. And these are the same people that were telling us that whether Dangote comes on or not, the prices are not going to change. So it's a bit scary because it seems like we're playing into the hands of these guys. And if you ask me, I would say government should protect the people.
How?
Because we did not, listen, when you talk about deregulation of a market, okay, deregulation only means better regulation, because a lot of guys are going to play all sorts of tricks on you and the people are going to suffer for it. And of course, it puts the government in bad light. Look, it's bad enough where we are. You know, I mean, like you said, there's inflation coming in from fuel price, from devaluation of currency. It's hitting people hard. Cost of transportation has gone up ×3 in some places. So it's time the government steps up to say, you can't play tricks on people. I mean, for example, if you're the same people saying that whether Dangote comes in or not, if we are refining locally, it doesn't matter. The price is going to be, because you see, when you drop things like this in the public, you're actually setting a certain kind of expectation in what they call price discovery. All these kind of statements also matter, because people say, okay, let's see whether they can take it. But you see, deregulation is not about throwing the people under the bus. If you ask me, it's not about, for now, what I've been trying to say, for example, to government and those who will listen is, now is the time for us to roll out everything we can roll out in terms of palliatives, reliefs, and everything, because already of course, we've put the bad news in front. We've kind of rolled out the bad news. So now is the time for good news. This is not the kind of thing we should be saying right now, because people are speculating. Right. It's pure speculation. When you're talking about 700, you know, because right now, as they're saying that, people could even begin to adjust their prices.
There you go.
There you know, it's not good enough.
And I'm wondering exactly how.
Indeed, there should be regulations regarding such statements. If you ask me,
you know, Tope, you said earlier, you said moments ago that deregulation means better regulation. But a lot of people actually think, look, this is no regulation.
Exactly, it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, government takes off its hands, because Ipman is saying, look, it's all about the market forces of demand and supply that will determine.
Give me a break. I mean, who are they? They are the ones that tell us. So you see, when in the case of, they are the ones that are price givers. So whatever it is they tell us, because this is how much I bought my fuel in Rotterdam and all of that, ship them here. And then of course, this also tells us that, look, if indeed we're talking of 30% of the price of fuel being transportation, government must do everything to ensure that the Dangote refinery, I'm not very hopeful with our old refineries. I'm not, because they were run by, you know, people who, civil servants, if you like, and a lot of compromise have happened there, you know. So, well, in terms of Dangote and all of the modular ones, Walter Smith in Owerri, there are 2 of them in Port Harcourt, there's 1 in Edo State, must come on board as a matter of urgency. Otherwise, it puts the government in very, very bad light. People are suffering. If you need to know the number of requests some of us are getting every day, people saying they can't survive, they can't eat.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
I mean, I've been there forever.
Ipman says once they start importing petrol from this month, this July, it will get to 700, especially in the north. That was the problem that the equalization fund was supposed to bridge. To bridge. So, I mean,
one of the things that needs to go, really, if you really want to deregulate, is equalization fund. Because if you look at countries where we are trying to copy, for example, in the UK, in the US, prices can differ. If you're in Houston, Texas, where all of the refineries are, usually the prices are cheaper there. When you move a little bit further afield, the prices are higher. If we really want to deregulate in Nigeria, the cost of fuel in Apapa where you are discharging will be lower, cheaper than what you get maybe in Lekki if Dangote doesn't come on board on time, or in VI. Even there'll be considerations like people in VI in Lekki can pay more than people in Agege.
Right.
Not to talk of going to the north. So, however, in the north, remember that we used to import, and I think we still do, from Maradi in Niger.
Right.
They put a refinery very close to our border. And we still import from them, which are sometimes you begin to wonder whether we're the ones, feeding them, or they're the ones feeding us. One way, a lot of things are happening that we're not even aware of.
Tope, earlier when the report was going on, and Mega spoke about tax relief and all that,
Can you imagine?
You kicked against it.
No,
and then hang on,
tax relief.
Hang on, Tope. You kicked against tax relief. But while responding earlier, you talked about certain reliefs that the government should provide for the people and palliatives.
Absolutely.
So what reliefs, if you're not in support, if you're not in support of tax relief, what reliefs and palliatives would you suggest?
No, okay, well, where I kicked against the tax relief request is everybody's digging in, and they know that, okay, government is, if government is vulnerable at some point in time, everybody piles in and say, hey, we win, you need to give us this. I mean, the government has just taken a decision just yesterday, several reliefs for companies to say, okay, you know what, we're not going ahead with some of these taxes on plastic, on this, on that, green taxes, and so on. Why can't we let that one see how it sinks in? Why are fuel importers asking for tax relief?
So what reliefs and palliatives would you suggest?
No, wait, you know what? Okay, so first of all, I mean, right now we have two. Inflation is ramping up so seriously and so on. So if you want to target let's say the transport industry or the transport sector, they're saying, okay, what buses are we putting in place for people? Even though that's going to be a 1 year, 2 year relief, are we expanding the rail system somewhere in Lagos or anywhere else that doing that to make life easier for people? Yeah. We need to have a multi-dimensional kind of relief for people. Let people sit around the boardroom table to put ideas on the table. Certainly there are so many things that we could do.
Can you come up with?
First of all, no cash. Let's remove the issue of cash. For me, cash, giving cash to people, because that's usually unaccountable. But in terms of, for example, tax relief, payee tax relief, for those who are working, we can do that very easily to say how much of payee are we cutting for people. You can cut taxes without actually saying you're targeting the oil sector. You can cut company income taxes to say, this is a business-friendly government. From 30%, we want to come down to 25% or 20%. Company income tax across the board for most companies in Nigeria to allow companies to continue to employ people and continue to pay them salaries. And so that takes care of maybe 25 million people who are in employment. People like you were complaining about how much you're paying for fuel. Yes. Maybe on your payee, the government can give you like 20K back. On your payee that deducting from you, they can give you 20,000 back. And that's like increasing your transport allowance for you to buy more fuel. But then we now be able to focus on people who don't have jobs, artisans and so on. Those are the ones that need all those buses in the streets, and we can do it. We really can do it. We can talk about electricity, electric buses and so on.
In the meantime, there's a plan to introduce VAT for the informal sector. I wonder what you have to say about that, and how ambitious do you think this tax reforms, to achieve 18% tax to GDP ratio
in 3 years' time?
In 3 years,
I think we can do even a bit faster than that. I think what we should just focus is at the leakages. So essentially, we don't have to increase taxes anywhere right now, in my view, my personal opinion. So, however, broadening the tax net. Look, I tell you what.
What are those leakages?
There are restaurants in this town, there are hotels in Nigeria that when you pay with your ATM, the money goes into the Oga's account, goes into the chairman's account, including the VAT you're paying. And nobody should pay VAT into the account. There are restaurants you eat, you're paying money into the account of the owner. So there's a lot of leakages on VAT that we can actually, who knows that that's a crime? Should we not, inform customers that when you see such a situation, you should report it? Right. So we can begin to roll that back. Do you know that less than 30% of companies who should be paying taxes in this country pay? So what about the 70% that should pay? I mean, I've mentioned some of those in the past. For example, in the UK, what they do is you cannot run your company account on a given year except you submit your tax return. Even if you're paying minimum tax, you must register. you must show that you've been to company house, and company house will ask you for your tax documents.
Your books must be
there's
clean.
so much that we can do without actually increasing taxes. This is not the time for me, if you ask me, to be fronting tax increases.
Thank you very much, Tope Fasua. That's it with you on News Night. An economist taking a look with us on the effect of the tax relief,
and
if you
of
like,
course the
on
planned
fuel,
increase in pump price
on
of
fuel
petrol.
price hike.